Now at this time, prosecution calls for the next one. May I proceed? Good afternoon, Ms. Isaacs.
Good afternoon.
Please introduce yourself, spelling your last name for me.
Hi. My birth name was Kai Yu Hao, my Chinese name. However, no one could pronounce it well, so I chose my name to be the Isaacs. Isaacs is spelled I-S-A-X,
Thank you, Ms. Isaacs. Can you please tell the court a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a part-time photography student. I just got a job at Chinese bar as a bartender, and I take care of my 95-year-old grandmother. Well, taking care of our elderly is one of the cultural values that my grandmother passed on to my mother and my mother passed on to me. So taking care of my grandmother is pretty much my life.
Okay, Ms. Isaacs, now, you said you most recently got a job working at Chubby's. Where did you work before?
I worked at Rock the World as a ride operator before.
And which ride did you operate?
I was operating the Tunnel of Terror until I got fired by the owner.
Well, why'd you get fired, Ms. Isaacs?
Well, I got fired because Bowman lied to me.
Objection. Speculation is an improper opinion, Your Honor.
Your response, counsel?
Permission to confirm with my husband.
Yeah, first name.
Your Honor, the witness is simply testifying to her rational-based perception. She believes that the defendant liked her.
Your Honor, if I may respond. My objection was in two parts. One, to the fact that she can't testify as to why she got fired. We've heard no foundation laid for a reason being given to her for her firing. She's not Miss Longstreet. She can't testify as to why that decision was made. And secondly, we've heard no foundation laid that she can give an opinion as to how Miss Bowman lied to her, what situation that was. There's complete lack of foundation here, and at this point, that's an improper opinion and speculative.
If opposing counsel desires, I can lay foundation.
I would say that the foundation probably would need to be laid as to, why she was terminated, so, yeah. If you wouldn't mind.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Isaacs, do you need me to ask the question before?
Sure.
You said you worked at Chubby's. Where did you work before?
I worked at Rock the World before.
You worked at Rock the World. And you left Rock the World because you were fired?
Yes.
When you were fired, were you told why? When you were let go from Rock the World, were you given an explanation?
Well, Longstreet told me, Longstreet said because I left early on the day of robbery.
Objection, Your Honor. This time, under Midland Rules of Evidence 801, this is hearsay. It's an out-of-court statement being offered for the truth of the matter asserted.
Your response, counsel?
Well, opposing counsel asked me to lay foundation as to why the witness was fired. I'm trying to lay foundation for that.
Your Honor, if I may respond to that.
Yeah.
Although I did ask that foundation be laid, that does not mean that inadmissible evidence is allowed to come into this courtroom.
Is there an exception to hearsay that applies to this situation?
May I confirm with co-counsel, please? Well, we're not using this as the truth of the matter asserted, but the subsequent actions.
Your Honor, if I may respond to that. The question was, did Longstreet say why he fired you? This testimony is being used directly for the truth of the matter asserted. Longstreet's statements were as to why she was fired, and therefore that is exactly for the truth of the matter asserted in this case.
Your Honor, well, the witness was fired. So Opposing counsel asked me to lay foundation as to why. Well, the truth is, she was fired. So if Longstreet gave her an explanation as to why she was fired, then that is the truth, not the explanation itself.
Would you like me to respond on those grounds?
Give me a minute.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Try to get it in.
Oh, Ms. Isaacs, while at Rock the World in 2012, you still work there, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now, on August 30th, can you explain to me what you noticed?
Well, Whit came to me, well, usually I was the one, I would ask Whit to cover my ride because I need to go back and take care of my grandmother. But on that day, Whit actually came to me and asked me whether I need to go back early, and that she could cover my ride for me. Well, in fact, she asked me several times that day.
Now, Ms. Isaacs, you said the defendant asked you several times to cover your ride that day. How many times did she ask?
About 8 times.
8 times, is that typical?
No, not at all.
So, what happened after the defendant asked you to cover your ride and you said you didn't need to go? Did she come and ask again?
Well, she came and told me that Longstreet asked me to go back early
Objection, Your
and I
Honor.
could go home.
Under Midland's Rules of Evidence 801, this is hearsay. The statement of Whit Bowman is not what I'm objecting to of hearsay, but the hearsay within hearsay of the statement Longstreet told Bowman, which then was referred to Ms. Isaacs.
I can move on.
If you wish to, counsel, objection sustained.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Isaacs, once you left your ride, Ms. Isaacs, you left your ride that day, correct?
Correct.
What happened once you left your ride?
I went to thank Longstreet for letting me go early, but he was talking to Haley, so I just left.
What happened? Did you go straight home?
No, just as I was to walk out from the park, I saw a camera crew looking around in front of the park, and he asked me if Bowman was operating my ride. So I wonder how he knew, but they were friends, so I didn't think much about it.
Now, Ms. Isaacs, I want to take you back to a little bit before you left the ride. Once you left, was your ride attended by anyone?
With Bowman?
So, Whit Bowman took over your ride so you can go home.
Yes.
Did she come and ask you again and you let her take over your ride? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. This is cumulative at this point. We've gone over these facts multiple
I'm
times.
going to let her go.
Yes, Your
Sorry,
Honor.
thank you.
Do you need me to re-ask the question?
Please.
So Whit came over and she asked you again and you let her take over your ride to go home. Is that what happened, Ms. Isaacs?
Yes. She came over and asked me to go back, say that Longstreet asked me to go home, and she would run my ride for the rest of the day.
Is that all the defendant said to you?
No. She actually went on and asked me if I try out the blackout feature again, since I accidentally hit that before.
Ms. Isaacs, she said she asked you about the blackout mode. What is that exactly?
A blackout mode is when the lights turns off in the ride.
Is that all that happens?
No. So during the blackout mode, the lights turns off and the rides keep moving in the ride.
So after Whit Bowman asked you about this, you then left your car, correct?
Correct.
And that's when you ran into Mr. Poole?
Yes.
Okay. Did anything else happen after that, Ms. Isaacs?
Well, Before I left my ride, just before I left my ride, before Wade came to me and asked me to go back, I was having a break, and I saw a person's shadow hovering around the employee access door, which is right by my right, the tunnel of Terrell, and I discovered Cameron Poole was there.
And what happened when you discovered Cameron Poole lurking in the employee access door?
Well, just when I was about to speak, I saw Cameron Poole pull out a bright blue knife from his pocket, and once he found his phone, he put it back in his pocket.
Did anything happen after that, Ms. Isaacs?
Then I saw he was texting Bowman, but my break was almost over, so I went back to my ride.
Okay. Now, Ms. Isaacs, you mentioned earlier blackout mode. And you mentioned that it turns off all the lights, but the cars keep moving. Is this supposed to happen? Are you supposed to hit this blackout mode?
Well, like Mr. Long should say, no one's supposed to hit the blackout mode ever, because it's really for maintenance purpose. But it seems like we had a plan for it since he asked me, she's asking me.
Did you have any training whatsoever to tell you that maybe you shouldn't hit the blackout mode?
Well, like I say, no one should ever hit the blackout mode because it's on the employee handbook. We were all trained by operating just the ride, the basic how to operate the ride, start and stop.
Ms. Isaacs, can you explain to us, because we're a little confused, the distance between the blackout mode and the emergency cutoff?
Well, on the control panel, the blackout mode is at the top left side, and the emergency stop button is at the bottom right. So to answer your question, it's pretty opposite side, far away.
Thank you, Ms. Isaacs. No further questions.
Yes, sir.